The language is gluey. There is glue everywhere coming out of every letter, so much glue. It's more like the noise someone makes when they're doing the punching. Sabrolarim naber. YouTube kanalime teşrif edip şerif verdiniz. Benim adım Dil Sevdalisi, Amerikalıyım. Bugün sizlere birlikte Türkçe üzerine konuşacağız, otherwise formerly known as Ottomanese, Kebab language, Uzbek 2, Suffixian, or Dr. Oz language. This is the 17th episode of Language Review, a series where I go through the languages of the world and review them, sort of like a film critic or a video game reviewer. And at the end of the video, I'll give them an official rating from Dogwater to GigaChad on the Simp scale. If you're serious about learning a language and want to see more videos from me, check out my Patreon page where I post bi-weekly videos and answer your language learning questions one-on-one. If you enjoy this video, let me know which language I should review next in the comments, and without further ado, hadi bakalım.
Turkey? I love turkey. I eat it with gravy on Thanksgiving with my family.
Shut up, that's such a stupid recycled joke. I've heard it 1,000 times.
Oh, sorry. But I also love Turkey, the country.
Excuse me? I believe you mean Turkiye?
No, Turkey, the country with the red flag.
It's Turkiye! Stop dead naming it! Anyway, the turkey is a large bird in the genus Meleagris, native to North America. Sorry, I mean a turkey is when you get 3 strikes in a row when bowling. Okay, sorry, lütfen beni affedin, I couldn't resist. The Turkish language is mainly spoken by over 70 million NPCs in Turkey, which is one of my favorite countries in Europe. There they have gorgeous cities with stray cats everywhere, breathtaking nature, skibbity bop bop, hairy people like me, vendors who repeatedly steal the ice cream you literally just paid for, and really good soap operas. I could think of like 31 reasons why I'd want to visit Turkey, so I'll name a few. I'd love to book a ticket on Turkish Airlines and get a nice affordable Turkish hair transplant. Maybe you get a discount if you speak their language. And I'd also love to try Turkish oil wrestling, my favorite sport to watch, where large men cover their bodies in olive oil and compete to achieve a rather strange objective. And I also really need to see what the heck is going on in Batman, which is a real place. But most of all, I'd love to meet Malum Kishi, the one who shall not be named, who is extremely handsome and tall and perfect. You and Malum Party are great. Please don't arrest me when I come to your country. However, no other place is as well known for having Turkish speakers than Western Turkey. I mean, Turkany, Turkland, Germany, which is home to around 3 million speakers. And Turkish is also spoken by minority groups in other places, such as Western Europe, the Balkans, the Middle East, as well as, wait, why does that look like a bad cosplay of the USA? Cyprus, where it's a co-official language. And then Azerbaijani is mutually intelligible, so practically speaking, you automatically unlock this DLC when you learn the language. Unfortunately, we don't have too many Turkish-speaking NPCs in the USA, but the ones we do have tend to be in New Jersey. Really? New Jersey? What the f? So with about 80 million NPCs speaking it worldwide, learning Turkish will unlock you quite a lot of DLC. But did you know that you, yes you, already speak this language? According to the Sun language theory popularized by nationalist Hüseyin Cahit Yalçın, all human languages originated from Turkish. So German, Swahili, French, American, and everything else are all just dialects of Kebab language. I think he was onto something. But while Turkish does have dialects itself, it's not as much of a fustercluck as languages like Vietnamese and Italian, where everything differs from town to town. Instead, within Turkey, you mainly just have a few major dialect groups shown here. Oh wait, wrong map. That's Greece. There we go. Rookie American mistake. They're basically the same thing anyway, you can't blame me. First we have Western Anatolian, and this is normie Turkish and it sounds clear with neutral pronunciation like American English. Standard Turkish, which is what you'll probably learn, is based on the variety of Western Anatolian spoken in Constantinople. I mean, Istanbul. Sorry, I was born in 1452 before they changed the name. Then we have Eastern Anatolian, and this is fun GigaChad Turkish. They've got a heavier, more rough and tough accent with some based Kurdish influence. I'd say it's relatable to Scottish English. Then we have Black Sea or Northeastern Anatolian, and this is spicy Turkish. It's melodic and sing-songy, and other Turks love to meme their dialect. It reminds me of Jamaican English, very beautiful, distinct, and memorable. And lastly, there's one village in Turkey where they speak bird language and whistle to each other to communicate. But now if we leave Turkiye and go to the little American-looking island, here in Cyprus they speak Cypriot Turkish, which is influenced by Greek. And these NPCs sound so cute cute and adorable. They could be cursing you out and you'd still smile. Aw, it reminds me of Brazilians. And if we fly to the least controversial region on Earth, we find Balkan Turkish. Wait, how'd it get there? It feels like there must have been an empire or something at some point. The dialects here are a bit old-fashioned, and they do some cool fusion stuff where they add words from their local languages. I've heard Bulgarian Turkish, and it's pretty hardcore. Then in Iraq and Syria, they have a more guttural dialect influenced heavily by the greatest language ever, El Arabiya. So they often replace the K sound with a K. Next we have Caucasus Turkish, which is also old-fashioned and influenced by languages of the region, including Ruski. Then you've got the diaspora in Turkany and the Turkey lands, who basically just speak standard Turkish but might add a rogue diga or maker in their sentences from time to time. I heard a ton of Turkish when I was traveling in Germany, especially in the best airport on earth, Flughafen Frankfurt, Main. And if you want to go speak Turkish in Turkany or travel anywhere else, you should check out Saily, who I'd like to thank for sponsoring this video. Saily is a new eSIM service app that offers you several affordable eSIM plans in a growing number of destinations, allowing you to easily get connection abroad or even in your home country. I travel a ton, and I used to waste so much money going through my carrier for data. But now, Saily saves me money, time, and I don't have to trust some random guy on the phone to activate my data when I arrive. Saily is so much more convenient than buying a physical SIM card. It takes barely any time to set up, and it allows me to use my phone reliably right when I land. And right now, you can get an exclusive 15% discount on Saily eSIM data plans. Download the Saily app or scan the code on screen and use code LanguageSimp at checkout. Looking for SIM cards in shady stores abroad is a nightmare, and now instead of desperately running around looking for public Wi-Fi like a beta, you can install the Saily eSIM and you won't even need to install a new one for each country. Saily is compatible for both iOS and Android devices, and if your device happens to not be compatible, they'll give you a full refund. Get an exclusive 15% discount on Saily eSIM data plans today. Download the Saily app and use code LanguageSimp at checkout or scan the code on screen to get started. Now it's time to talk about the writing system. The Turkish language used to be written in the gorgeous Arabic script for about 900 years until being replaced practically overnight in 1928 by Turkey's George Washington, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. This work of art, as beautiful and perfect as it was a bit too hard to pair with Turkish phonetics, so Ataturk decided the American alphabet would be a better fit. That's crazy to me. Imagine if Trump tomorrow was like,
I love Russia. Their D is a big, beautiful crab. We must all now write in Cyrillic.
And Ataturk was a total gigachad. He himself then toured the country to teach the new writing system to all the NPCs. So nowadays, Turkish is written in a modified version of the American alphabet with 29 letters instead of the normal 26. I bet it's similar enough to what we use, so let's just run through it quickly. A, B, J. Wait, J? What the doner kebab? Must have been a typo. However, a lot of letters still are normal, so let's focus in on the quirked up mutant creatures. The C is a furry with a tail coming out its behind, and it makes the ch sound like in chilies. Then the normal G is gay, pronounced like g, but the G with a bowl on top makes the sound. Wait, what? Why is this a thing? I hate silent letters. You're under arrest, buddy. Go hang out with your friends. It's called the Yumashak gay, and it sort of extends the vowel before it, and some hard mode dialects go feral with it and turn it into other stuff. And then we stumble upon my worst nightmare. This is a very normal and standard I, and it's pronounced like E. But if you decapitate the letter, that is, cut the dot off the top, it becomes a new letter, and this makes the sound. It's like a short little manlet stick that looks really bizarre in words. It's too tiny. Why are you hiding, little buddy? It reminds me a lot of the Russian uy or which is the noise someone makes when they get punched, but to pronounce the Turkish it's more like the noise someone makes when they're doing the punching. And then they have two O's. The naked O is normal, like O, while the O with the nipples on top makes the sound. Sort of like the noise baguette people make when you ask them a simple question. Then the furry S with a tail makes the sh sound, which I must admit is more efficient than using S plus H. And finally, we have two U's. The normal U is pronounced like ooh, while the U with the dots is more of a rounded ooh. So the alphabet doesn't seem too bad. Yeah, you might need to try boxing in order to get the out, but other than that, nothing sticks out as difficult. Except the pesky yumashak gay. Come on out of prison, little buddy. Wait, where'd the Russian silent letters go? Hadilan oradan. Even though it doesn't make a noise, the quirked up G has a big effect. This means nothing. But if you add the gangster G on the end, it extends the A vowel like da, and now it means mountain. This is absolute nonsense. But if you add our little buddy, it turns into yağmur, and now it means rain. And with that G and a bunch of other vowels, you'd think this language would be hard and annoying to pronounce, but it's really not. And this is because Turkish has a magical supernatural abracadabra feature known as vowel harmony. Turkish vowels come in groups, and the vowels in a certain group flow well and are easy to pronounce together. So the GigaChad Turkish developers made a rule where these vowels from one group will always be paired with one another. They're almost segregated. The letter groups seem kinda racist? So vowels in the stem of a word will flow nicely into vowels towards the end. You won't need to strain or injure your mouth or do gymnastics with your tongue like you have to in French and Russian. And this feels really good as a learner, especially when you realize that you'll be adding a ton of suffixes to every word, so you'll need to know these vowel groups very well or you will go to prison. Erdogan himself said that if you're caught getting the vowel harmony wrong even once, you will be sentenced to 5 years.
You just said Malum Kishi's name!
Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. Cut the camera!
Dikkat et. Silivri soğuktur.
Nah, that's propaganda. Silivri sıcaktır. And partly thanks to vowel harmony, Turkish sounds beautiful. I find it relaxing to listen to. It's very flowy and extremely smooth, but with strong masculine undertones baked in. It's like a rhythmic machine gun, and the sounds that stick out to me the most are the frequent z's, ch's, and j's. It's like Polish, but with vowels. And surprisingly, people often say that Turkish sounds like Japanese. And at first I didn't believe it until I heard some comparisons. It's actually crazy. Here, listen to this. First in Turkish, then in Japanese.
Havacılıkla ilgili bilinen tüm yasalara göre bir arının uçabilmesi mümkün değil. Kanatları tombul vücudunu yerden kaldırmak için çok küçük. Ama arı tabii ki yine de uçuyor.
私の名前はきよちちゃんです。北朝鮮が大好きですよ。
Uncanny resemblance. But seriously, linguists did used to think that Turkish was related to Japanese, but that's since been debunked. And Turkish music is straight flames. I love all the songs from this guy, Acar Anik. His lyrics speak to my soul, but nothing touches my heart as much as the girl group Manifest. They're like Twice, but better, and instead of K-pop, it's T-pop, and I've memorized the entire dance that goes with their banger called Snap. Perhaps I'll film it and post it on Patreon. But now let's talk about vocab. Turkish words are extremely Turkic, so you won't find many cognates with most languages unless you speak Arabic, Persian, or maybe French. For me, Turkic vocab is a complete new beast, so let's start with a simple, common word so you don't get too overwhelmed. Görüşürüz. Holy crap, this word looks insane. It's like a body-modified Hot Topic employee with piercings everywhere. Let's skip that one and look at Çekoslovakyalılaştıramediklerimizdanışınız, which means hello. No, I'm kidding. Hello is just merhaba. But this monstrosity means apparently you are from among those whom we couldn't make into a Czechoslovakian. What the baklava? I'm serious, that is a real comprehensible Turkish word, and I could think of a few uses for it. The reason some words are so wild is because Turkish is an agglutinative language, which means you take one word, then attach anywhere from 1 to a billion suffixes on the end of it to create a very dense black hole of information. And there are suffixes for everything. For example, for plural, possession, location, direction, tense, aspect, mood, negation, ability, person, question, and evidentiality, to name like 1% of them. Let's take the word Hindi and have some fun with it. Please fasten your seatbelts. Hindi means Turkey in Turkish, like the animal, not the country. But if we add lar to the end of it, it becomes Hindilar, which means Turkeys plural. Then add an im to that and we get Hindilerim, meaning my turkeys. Add a de and we get Hindilerimde, meaning in my turkeys. Then kilar and we get Hindilerimdekilar, which means from the ones in my turkeys. Skip a few steps and we get Hindilerimdekilarden misiniz. Ceseneler misiniz, which roughly translates to, as if you were from the ones in my turkeys. So yeah, imagine this type of structure repeated quickly in a group setting with a bunch of Turks speaking informally to one another, and you'll see just how much of a challenge this language will be. It's not hard per se, but it's just so different from languages most of us are used to speaking. And if we look at one of these forms, notice that all the vowels are from one of the vowel harmony groups, which allow you to easily create these suffixes yourself once you've memorized the groups. And you gotta be careful with vowels, because if you say this, you're just saying you're bored. But if you accidentally put the heads on the eyes, you just said something happened to you that is very vulgar. It really blows my mind how much information can be stored in just one word. Like even simpler, to ask someone where are you, you just say neredesin. You have the where and you are glued together. It's like magic. But at least between these long words, they like to use the best filler word on the planet, yani. I love Arabic, and if you've ever heard anyone speak it, you've heard them say yani a million times, which is the same word, just the Turks drop the ayn. I also love the word çok, which I think is the best sounding way to say very in any language ever. And to say yes in Turkish, you say evet, which is so freaking unique and pretty, evet. And apparently you can say yes by just softly closing your eyes for a few seconds. How's my pronunciation? And no is hayır, but apparently you can say no by just raising your eyebrows instead. My eyebrows look like fat caterpillars, so I bet my pronunciation is super clear. Turkish is practically a sign language. If you lift your head up and flick your neck, according to Turks, this means I don't have money. But one of my favorite things about any language I've ever encountered is the way that Turks laugh when texting. We go ha 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 ha, Mexicans go ja 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 ja, Brazilians k k k k k k, and that's cool and all. But Turks just smash their face into the keyboard like I wonder if anyone's ever accidentally written Shakespeare or the US Constitution while laughing. It seems impossible, but one Turk I know hit the lottery by typing the same exact letter combination 6 times in one group chat on different dates. And he managed to do this even though Discord is illegal in Turkey. What are the odds? Probably better than the odds of you understanding Turkish grammar. Let's begin with the positives. Turkish does not have grammatical gender. Tables are not women like they are in French, so I'm no longer attracted to them. And there are no articles, no las, thes, nor der, die, das's anywhere to be found. And that about wraps up the positives. Turkish grammar is a nightmare for learners. I'm convinced the devs had a meeting and said, we made the pronunciation of this language easy, so now let's take all the hardest grammatical aspects of every language, put them in a blender, and we'll call it Türkçe. For starters, Turks speak backwards. Word order is often the exact opposite of what you'll find in American, like exactly opposite inverse everything. These charts are genuinely mind-blowing, and we should all pay our respects to Turkish learners. So if I want to eat an ice cream ice to eat want I? That's a bad example, because the dude's not even gonna give it to me. So if you manage to learn all the words and suffixes you want to say, good luck formulating all the reverse logic to get it out clearly. But apparently in Ohrid, Macedonia, they reinvert everything back to normal. So let's all learn that version of Turkish. And the language also has cases. 6 mind-numbingly frustrating, nightmare-inducing cases which make me very depressed. They've got nominative, accusative, dative, locative, genitive, and ablative cases. What the does ablative mean? This is a ball. If the ball rolls, you say top. If you kick the ball, it becomes topu. If you give a gift to the ball, it becomes topa. Sitting on the ball makes it topta. If the ball has a son, it becomes topun. And if something comes from the ball, it becomes toptan. And if you have multiple balls, now you have 6 other plural forms to memorize. And don't forget, then you'll probably add 30 other suffixes to give the word an even deeper meaning. Toptancıklarindan. Oh, at least verbs aren't that bad in this language. By some miracle, Turkish verbs do not have conjugations nor tenses. Do you believe me? It's not true. I'm lying. It's not true. There are a ton. To properly conjugate verbs, you've got to memorize a million more suffixes and then learn the proper order to attach them while keeping in mind tense, mood, aspect, person, negation, and a whole lot more. But these are mostly regular. For example, to come in Turkish is gelmek. Gel is the stem. So to say I am coming, you add the present continuous suffix ior, then the first person singular suffix so geliyorum. I am coming. And of course you can add other stuff and make it impossibly long, blah blah blah, gelme, belme, leshme, imse. But you've all seen that. The language is gluey. There is glue everywhere coming out of every letter, so much glue, 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 glue. I'll actually start hyperventilating if I explain any more. The subject pronouns are pretty cool though. Ben is how you say I. So I imagine that someone named Ben who learns Turkish would constantly think everyone is trying to get his attention. So now it's time to talk about shock factor. How will native Turkish speakers react to you speaking their language as a foreigner? Well, if you walk up to a Turk in real life and you speak some half-decent kebab language to them, they're gonna do a lot of backflips. They'll immediately buy you a doner and then perform the skibbity bop bop belly dance for you while a man hits a drum and a cat vibes out. Turks love when you speak their language, and they'll be more than happy to help you learn it. They're not like some Europeans who will switch to English instantly and try to mog you. It's not really the most popular thing to learn, so they'll be surprised, grateful, and they'll think you're an alpha. A lot of Turks speak American, but mainly in the major cities, so if you travel outside of them, the shock factor will increase exponentially. Honestly, even butchered Turkish will make them give you the deed to their house and a car, and they might even invite you to partake in a friendly oil wrestling match. And if you speak fluent Turkish as a foreigner, oh my goodness! Erdogan himself will fly you and your family to Ankara and host you at the presidential complex of Turkey, then he'll give you citizenship and 1 billion lira. So in summary, Turkish is 100% one of the best languages to learn in Europe if you want to shock natives and make them do involuntary backflips. I could talk about this language all day, but I'm going to a hammam, a Turkish bathhouse, so it's time to give Turkish an official Language Simp certified rating on the Simp scale. On a scale of dog water to Giga Chad, I place the Turkish language solidly in the alpha tier. I really like this language. It sounds beautiful with some crazy noises, and I find it incredibly relaxing to listen to. Turkey is a gorgeous country with remarkable history that I would love to visit one day, both to get a hair transplant and to just experience the culture. And learning this language will unlock you a ton of interesting DLC with almost 100 million new NPCs to communicate with. However, the suffixes hurt my brain. I'm not opposed to learning languages with difficult aspects, but agglutination is a beast that genuinely intimidates me. This language makes German compound words look like nothing, and it makes Russian cases look like a kindergarten color matching exercise. One day I will learn you Turkish. One day, I promise. I flirted with you in the past. I even did a live stream where I learned Turkish if you want to go watch that, but for the time being, I'm mejorando mi español. But if you're genuinely interested in Turkey, the Turkish language, or Turkish culture, I highly recommend you give this language a try. If you want to see more from me, check out my Patreon. For just $3 a month, you'll gain access to bi-weekly videos where I explain how I learn languages, and you'll be able to message me one-on-one so that I can help you along your language learning journey. And thank you so much to my current patrons for supporting me. Without you, I'm just a little bald gringo, but with you, I am Dir Sevdalisi. So yeah, görüşürüz.